The matron made us embroider a butterfly. Next to each embroidery frame was a live venomous snake. She said whoever kept their hands the steadiest while stitching the wings gets to live. Girls were screaming left and right. A bunch of them already tapped out. They were foaming at the mouth by the time they got dragged away. When it was my turn, I just let that slimy snake wrap itself around my wrist. Every single stitch, it's perfect. The butterfly looked alive. Impressive. Not even a flinch when death's staring you down. That's exactly the kind of person the prince needs. Just like that, the head matron took me straight to the legendary Fu Wang Manor. Walking into a place like that for the first time, my heart was absolutely pounding. I was so nervous I kept overwatering the garden flowers until they were half dead, or smashing dishes in the kitchen. After I blew up the kitchen for the 8th time, the head matron hauled me out by the collar and threw me in the courtyard to do laundry. That's where I ran into Fu Yunzheng, the prince himself, mid-love poison episode. And I got drafted as the antidote. Afterward, Fu Yunzheng made me his live-in concubine. 6 years flew by. Except for a title, I'll give you everything else. And honestly, Fu Yunzheng kept his word. Fine clothes, unlimited spending money. When he was in a good mood, he'd even bring back cute little trinkets from outside. Because of all that, I stuck around for years. What really got me though, everyone outside was saying he was, not functional. I slowly rolled my very sore back and just disagreed with that rumor entirely. One morning, a maid brought breakfast and I was going to town on a pork knuckle. When out of nowhere I caught a whiff of that fish soup the kitchen was making for Fu Yunzheng. The second I lifted the lid, that fishy smell hit me so hard, I immediately threw up everything I just ate. I'd been eating well and sleeping well in the manor for years. My cycle was always on time. But this time, it was late. Really late. I panicked and ran straight to the matron who had bought me into the manor. "Matron, I think I might be pregnant. What do I do?" She looked at me like she wanted to end me, gave me the most disappointed glare. "How are you this reckless? Do you have any idea how forbidden it is for a concubine to get pregnant?" But even after saying all that, she quietly snuck me out to get checked. I'd been drinking pregnancy prevention tea every single day for 6 years, and somehow I still ended up pregnant with Fu Yunzheng's kid. I still don't know if that says more about him or about me. "What are you gonna do? This baby probably can't stay." Her words hit me like a truck. I mean, as a concubine, I had a code. No kids allowed before the official wife came through. That was the rule. If you got pregnant, it got taken care of. No exceptions. But after 6 years of that tea, I was genuinely scared I might never be able to conceive again. This baby somehow made it. That felt like a miracle. So yeah, I got selfish about it. I wanted to keep it. Keep it, of course I'm keeping it. This is my child. The moment my parents sold me to this manor, I became an orphan. I just desperately wanted someone in this world who shared my blood. The matron heard me out, let out a long sigh, and didn't say another word. Back at the manor, I wandered around in a daze, staring at the little turtle in Fu Yunzheng's study. It looked like it was trying to make a run for it, but a young eunuch spotted it and snatched it right back. I sat in my room, no appetite at all, just staring blankly at the bland food in front of me. Watery broth and plain rice. How is a pregnant woman supposed to eat this? I hadn't even picked up my chopsticks when Fu Yunzheng's head steward showed up. "Miss Tao, His Highness has a dinner engagement with the Minister of Personnel tonight. He won't be back. His Highness says you should go ahead and rest. No need to wait up." I nodded and told my maid to pull a gold nugget from the money box and tip the steward. It hurt to give it up, not gonna lie. But for the bigger plan I was cooking up, you gotta spend to win. While I was lost in thought, I suddenly remembered a conversation I'd had with Fu Yunzheng a few days back. I don't know what was going on with me back then, but I kept having this dream. A little kid holding my hand, calling me mommy so sweetly. So I told Fu Yunzheng about it. "My lord, I've been having this recurring dream lately." "What kind of dream?" "I dreamed of a child holding my hand and calling me mommy." "Don't read into it. Dreams mean the opposite. Know your place." I snapped back to reality and stared out at the moonlight through the window, then looked at myself in the bronze mirror. Pretty face, sure. But to him, I was just a toy. The day he got bored, a few silver coins would be all it took to get rid of me. That was the reality of us, completely unequal. I never dreamed of some high status. If you don't hope for it, you won't miss it. I wasn't his princess, just a shadow-dwelling back courtyard concubine with no real standing. Why bother wanting more? I let out a slow, tired breath, and started carefully mapping out my escape plan. Over the years, he'd given me quite a bit. Gold nuggets, gold leaves, silver notes, loose silver, add it all up, and it was more than enough for me and my baby to live comfortably. Plus, the place I was heading to was basically the middle of nowhere, way up north. No matter how many people he sent, he'd never find me. But just to be safe, I quietly pawned off every piece of expensive jade he'd given me over the years. Every last piece. In just a few days, the cash I had on hand doubled. Turns out the prince had really good taste in gifts. Everything was in place. I just needed the right moment. I knew the Empress Dowager's birthday was coming up, and as the prince, Fu Yunzheng would have to go to the palace. And that day happened to land on the Qiqi festival. Basically, everyone in the manor would be out celebrating. Way fewer guards, and the streets of Chang'an would be packed with people. It was the perfect cover. That Qixi night, I slipped onto a carriage I'd arranged in advance and left the place I'd called home for 6 years. Actually, back in my second year as his concubine, Fu Yunzheng had already given me back my indenture papers. A woman of mine doesn't need to be registered as a servant. His words were still ringing in my ears. But before I left, I wrote him a letter in my chicken scratch handwriting. Basically a goodbye, a final farewell. Because I knew, in a few days, he'd be arranging a marriage with the minister's daughter. I knew my place. I was nobody. If his grandmother found out I was already pregnant before the official wife arrived, I was as good as dead.